Hare Krishna, dear devotees, we welcome you to today's SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM class. Today is, in some different parts of the world, today is Janmashtami, and in some other parts, it is tomorrow. But the most important thing is that we are in the mood of celebration. And we are happy to have His Grace, Bhaktivedanta Chaitanya PREMA PRABHU, who is going to be speaking to us from SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM. I think it's the right kind of person to speak on this day. So Chaitanya PREMA PRABHU, if you're ready, we'll put the verse on the screen and you can continue. But we are deeply sorry for the technical glitch that happened a few minutes ago. We should be correcting it as we go on. Hare Krishna.
Okay, put the verse on the screen and let's see what we can do. Can you please put the verse on the screen?
We are almost there. So you can start, Prabhuji.
Okay. Today we are taking our Bhagavatam class from SRIMAD Bhagavatam 2nd Canto, 5th chapter, verse number 32. Yadaite Sangata Bhava Bhutendriya Manoguna Yada Yatana Nirmane Nasetu Brahma Vitama Yadaite Sangata Bhava Bhutendriya Manoguna Yada Yatana Nirmane Nasetu Brahma Vitama Yadaite Asangata Bhava Bhutendriya Manoguna Yadayatana Nirmane Nasiku Brahmavitama. Translation. This is scroll, please. Oh God. If I'm to depend on this to read this, it's a serious disturbance. You can please scroll the verse up, please. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, like A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. O Narada, best of the transcendentalists, the forms of the body cannot take place as long as these created parts, namely the elements, senses, mind, and modes of nature, are not assembled. Purport by His Divine Grace, like A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. The different types of bodily construction of the living entities are the different types of bodily construction of the living entities are exactly like different types of. The Africa is covering some part of the screen here also, so I can't see clearly. Can you please read it for me, Prabhu?
I should read.
You
said I should read. Sadif Prabhu, I think you need to still work. Something is still wrong. There's some sound coming. Kind of funny sound. Okay. See, Prabhu.
Yeah.
You said you cannot see the screen?
Some part of the Hare Krishna is covering the screen, and here I can't see how to manipulate it. So,
okay, should I read the purport for you?
Read the purport for me, please.
Shila Prabhupada's purport. The different types of bodily constructions of the living entity are exactly, just a moment. Okay. Let's go back to it. Okay, the different types of bodily constructions of the living entities are exactly like different types of motor cars manufactured by assembling the allied motor parts. When the car is ready, the driver sits in the car and moves it as he desires. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 1861. The living entity is as if seated on the machine of the body, and the car of the body is moving by the control of material nature. Just as the railway trains are moving under the directions of the controller, the living entities, however, from the cars of the body. But the less intelligent material scientists cannot understand the process of assembling the parts of the body, namely the senses, the mind, and the qualities of the material modes. Every living entity is a spiritual spark, part and parcel of the Supreme Being. And by the kindness of the Lord, for the Father is kind to his sons, the individual living entities are given a little freedom to act according to their will, to lord it over the material nature, just as a father gives some playthings to the crying child to satisfy him. The whole material creation is made possible by the will of the Lord to allow the bewildered living entities to lord it over things as they desire, although under the control of the agent of the Lord. The living entities are exactly like small children playing the material field under the control of the maidservants of the Lord, nature. They accept the Maya or the maidservant as all in all, and thus wrongly conceive the supreme truth to be feminine, goddess Durga, etc. The foolish childlike materialists cannot reach beyond the conception of the maidservant material nature. But the intelligent grown-up sons of the Lord knows well that all the acts of material nature are controlled by the Lord, just as a maidservant is under the control of the master, the father of the undeveloped children. The part of the body, such as the senses, are the creation of the material Mahatattva. And when they are assembled by the will of the Lord, the material body comes into existence, and the living entity is allowed to use it for further activities. This is explained as follows. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu. All glories to you. Umaginatim Randasya Ganagana Salakaya, Chasomalitayi Natasmai Sri Prabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mano Bistans Sabitani Nambutalis and Rupankadamayam, that is Swapadantikam. Mukam karutu vashalam angum lang yate green yard pipata hambande sri kurunjita. Vancha kapatar vyacha kripasin the vyasa vachapatanam bhavane bho Vaishnava. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So we welcome everyone to today's SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM class. Please, you are warmly welcome. And we try to see what we can say about this particular topic in the midst of the challenges posed by the technological environment. We try to sharpen our focus and remain fixed despite the distractions. So today, the body in this particular purport, Srila Prabhupada is explaining that the material body is like a machine. The material body is like a machine. And the purport also directly says that the old Narada best of the transcendentalists, the forms of the body cannot take place as long as these created parts, namely the elements, senses, mind, and modes of nature, are not assembled. That yes, to create a machine, the principle is to assemble different parts. That is the work the engineer does. To create a motor car, for instance, you assemble different parts. The tires are there, the wheel is there, the windscreen, the doors, you assemble it together. So here, Lord Brahma is telling Narada that yes, oh Narada, best of the transcendentalists, that these forms you see, including the human forms and all other forms, they cannot take place as long as the parts are not there. They are able to take place, they have been assembled because the parts are first created. So there was a need to create all the parts, components first, before assembling. So this is the first point. But when a car is assembled, the car does not drive itself. There is a driver. And we say we can call him passenger, the soul in this case, but still there is a driver. And as the analogy given, the metaphorical analogy given by Srila Prabhupada in some other places is that the intelligence is the driver and the soul is the passenger. So the components work operatively like that in order for the machine to be able to do something in the service of the owner. So this is the nature. And Bhagavad Gita chapter 18 verse 61 also, there is a quotation to that the body is a yantra. It's a machine, big machine. And the material nature, big material nature itself is a big machine being operated by the Lord who is within. So a machine must be operated by a superior force. That is just the first point. Every inferior energy must be activated by a superior force. And the parts of the machine are useful only as long as they are connected to the whole body of the machine. Otherwise, it will be like a cut-off hand. Our hands, for instance, they are part of the machine of the body. And they are useful because they are connected to the whole body. Once the hand is cut off, even though it can resemble the part of a real hand, but the cut off hand cannot execute any of the functions of the real hand. So similarly, when a machine is disconnected from the whole, it is like a cut-off hand. And by extension, the living entities are also part and parcel of Krishna. And when the part tries to live apart from the whole, there is problem. There is problem. In the Sri Upanishad invocation, the nature of the completeness of a machine is given. And that there it is stated that the machine part is dependently complete, but the whole is independently complete. The Lord does not depend on anyone for his completeness, but all the parts depends on their connection with the Lord. So that is the dependence of the parts. A part is only dependently controlled. What is the dependence? The dependence is that it has to be in relationship with the whole body. It has to be connected to the whole body. That's the completeness of the human form of life is meant for a purpose, and that purpose is not sense gratification. Yes, it is for self-realization. So a human being becomes complete only when he starts his journey of self-realization, when he starts establishing a relationship with the Supreme Lord under the guidance of the advanced devotees. So this is what happens. So it is a fact. Yes, we are seeing problems in the world because the people in the world are not in knowledge of how to relate to the completeness or the complete whole. They do not know how to relate. They have no relationship. They try to enjoy what they see separately from the owner or the complete whole. Therefore, they are suffering like a hand that is separated from the body. This is going on. And technically, they are considered to be killers of the soul in that way because, yes, when a machine is meant for a purpose and is used for other purposes, it cannot achieve the purpose that it is meant for. Therefore, it becomes like a killer of the soul when the human form of life, which is a high machine, is used for low propensities, is used for pursuing sense gratification. It becomes a problem. So the scriptures advise that, yes, it is a machine, the human body, but it has to be used for the purpose that it was created. The human form of life is so advanced, such that the intelligence is high and you're able to comprehend higher realities. So the human form of life is just a high machine that it is supposed to be for liberating oneself and liberating others that are connected to us. So, but when it is used for lower propensities, the problem comes. And that is why we are suffering. So in the BHAGAVATAM also, to support this, there is a verse that the human form of life is actually compared to, first of all, the material world is compared to a very big ocean, mighty ocean. And the human body is compared with a solid boat designed for crossing over the ocean. Then the Vedic scriptures and the acharyas or saintly persons, teachers, are compared with the expert boatman. And the facility of a human body are compared with favorable destination or favorable breezes, which can help the boat to ply smoothly to attain its destination. So when all these facilities are provided and the human beings neglect the facility, they neglect the scriptures, they neglect the acharyas, they neglect other teachers, they neglect all the opportunities, the high intelligence granted by the Lord, then they become killers of the soul. So if you extend this, you see that the whole world is like the civilization of the world is like a soul-killing civilization. And in such a situation, the human beings suffer more than even the animals. They go through stress. They are in the best of offices, but they go through a lot of stress. They commit suicide. You don't see suicide in the animal kingdoms, but you see suicide in the human kingdom. You see serious frustration and dissatisfaction altogether. So this is what is going on. But this is happening because the people who are in it, engaged in sense gratification, they have no knowledge about the actual purpose of life. They do not know the formula for happiness. They're like children who are provided with playthings and they're playing with it and they're just after they don't see beyond. So we say this is creating a lot of problems. But if we really want to get satisfaction, like for instance, if the body wants to get satisfaction, it has to discover its root. The root of the material body is the soul. The soul is the root of the material body. And the root of the soul is the super soul. The root of the super soul is also another expansion of the Lord, Garbhoda. And its root is eventually Mahavishnu. And the root of Mahavishnu is Krishna. So Krishna is the root of all existence. So if our pursuit for happiness is centered around the root, is centered around the root, watering the root, trying to concentrate on the root, then automatically we can become happy. But if we think of happiness independent of the concerns of relating with the root, then we continuously get dissatisfied. Even though we are pursuing satisfaction, making all kinds of arrangements, we can never become happy. This is what is happening. We must act with the understanding that the root is the soul is the root of the body. And we should try to make the soul happy. And when that is achieved, when the soul is happy, automatically the body and the senses will be enlivened. And there's a quotation to this in the Bhagavatam, 558 or so, that Yatataro Mula Nisishanina, Tripyanti Tat Skanda Pujo Pasaka, Pranopohara Chaya Tendriana, the Taiva Sarvaranam Chutija. This is the advice there. That by pouring water to the root of a plant, the leaves and the branches are automatically nourished. And by the same token, by sending food to the stomach, all the body and the bodily limbs are enlivened. You see? So this is the process of happiness. The process of happiness is to center our endeavor around satisfying the soul. And the soul should put all endeavor to satisfying the super soul. And in this way, the root is watered. But the material scientists, as in the purport, they don't have knowledge of all these components, how the senses come about, how the mind comes about, how the three modes of material nature come about. They just see the world. There are some laws, they study the laws, and they're able to manipulate and get something, and they are satisfied with that. But they don't care how the senses come into being. What the three modes of material nature are, they don't care. You see? So they are continuously dissatisfied. And they promise enjoyment, they promise satisfaction to people, but they themselves are continuously dissatisfied. Because their pursuit of satisfaction is based on a false background. You see? So this is a lamentable situation. But we as devotees, we should know that when you see a tree, it is not just the leaves and the branches and the fruits that we should see. The scientists see only the fruits, the branches, and the leaves. And all their interest is how to water the green parts, because it is the leaves that are producing around the leaves that the fruits are coming. So they go ahead watering the leaves and watering the source of the root or the fruit. There, the branches. And in that way, their attempts are considered less intelligent by the sober persons. You see? So by watering the leaves and the branches, when a learned man comes across or comes in contact with them, he say, oh, what is going on? What is going on? This guy, is he very intelligent, a gardener? He's watering the leaves. He's killing the trees, he's killing the fruits, he's killing the leaves by watering them like this. So we say, please, see the tree in connection with the root. The tree has a root, and the intelligent man simply waters the root. And when he waters the root, automatically the leaves and the branches are nourished. This is the way of the wise man. You see the root, pour water to the root. And this is the process of devotional service. So when a devotee sees all these components of creation, the elements, the senses, the mind, the modes of nature, he immediately sees them in relationship with the soul and the super soul. He immediately tries to relate. He sees the root. Where are they coming from? And there is a relationship. And this is the difference between the process of Bhakti Yoga. Because once you say there's a relationship, then service must be there. This is the difference between Bhakti Yoga and other yogas. You see, the Gyanis and other yogis, they are looking for the root, but the Bhaktas have already found the root by the mercy of the elevator system coming from the Param, and they are watering the root. But the Gyanis are looking for the root with torchlights, trying to find the root. If it is not like this, it must be like this. If it's not like this, it must be like this. Then they are looking for the root. But the Bhaktas are already watering the root. They might be illiterate, but by coming in contact with the pure devotees and the devotees of the Lord, immediately the devotees say, oh, this is the root, just water the root. Then they are watering the root and they are getting the maximum benefits. You see? So this is the way of the Bhaktas. And it is very beautiful. So in this verse, if we say, how does this verse really relate to we the devotees? How does this verse relate to the devotees the way that devotees have already found root, and it should continue to water the root? Even if it's not perfect now, it's on track. It's already watering the root, so it should keep on watering the root. And guard against diverting himself. Water the root, continue. These are the Papa is still going on. Thank you very much. So this is the process of watering the root. That's where we are part of, and we have to take it very seriously. And if we think that we are not doing well, we are actually doing something, and we are progressing gradually. As long as we remain on that track of watering the root, eventually we actually arrive. So let us continue to water the root. Here is a process whereby even if one does not attain the desired result, if one doesn't succeed fully, what we get is going to protect him from losing his human form of life. So it's a very glorious platform, the platform of devotional service. And that's where we are part of. And we should, I think, take it very diligently, individually watering the root, and try to go ahead, taking advantage of the human form of life, and try to perfect our life. So how do we continue to improve our situation? First of all, the scientists and the non-devotees, they are seeing the material objects with material vision. They are seeing everything as, objects for sense gratification. Therefore, all their endeavor is to maximize this approach for sense gratification. That's where they are. But for the devotees try to see material objects with spiritual vision. And the spiritual vision is that both material and spiritual things are having their source in Krishna. And it is stated categorically in the SRIMAD Bhagavad Gita, Aham Sarvasya Prabhava, Mata Sarvam Prabhatite, Iti Matva Bhajantimam Buddha Bhava Samamvita. Krishna says, I am the source of both the material and the spiritual energies. Everything emanates from me. That the wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service with all their hearts. So that is it. A devotee sees material objects with spiritual vision. They see beyond the immediate, and they're able to relate everything as coming from Krishna. And therefore everything in glorifying Krishna. That is it. When you know that everything is coming from Krishna, the next stage is how to engage everything in pleasing Krishna. And this is what Srila Prabhupada brought, the uniqueness of Srila Prabhupada. He introduced us to the process. He taught us the ABC, how to engage everything in the service of Krishna. And to the degree we are able to do this, to that degree, we'll be making progress individually. Okay, so this is where we are. Our position is very fortunate. The devotees are in a very fortunate position whereby they are now seeing all material objects with spiritual vision, a vision that is connected to. But if the non-devotees or the scientists try to see the material object with material vision, and the result is bonding.
Nanda Kumar, you kept on unmuting yourself after we unmute you.
Please, if the devotee, sees beyond and he tries to engage everything in the service of Krishna, he gets purification. So seeing material objects with spiritual vision, as in the case of the devotees, results in purification. And there it comes to realize that utility is the principle. And it therefore learn the art and science of engaging everything in the service of the Lord. Utility is his principle. He sees the material body, the material body is full of miseries. Yes, but you can engage the material body in glorifying the Lord, and therefore you make use of the best use of the power bargain. When you engage the body, which is the source of misery, in trying to satisfy Krishna, you're able to purify yourself. And in the process, you make advancements towards the ultimate goal. So is it not beautiful? This is the position of the devotees. You see, utility is the principle. Why? Because it's able to see everything, the elements, and every other thing therein in relationship with Krishna. He sees the elements, he sees the senses, he sees the mind, he sees the moves of nature, and therefore he tries to engage Lord. And that is it. That is the beauty of the way of the devotees. So we are on track. Individually, we should know where we are so that we can evolve beyond the level of misunderstanding, canister kind of mentality that is everywhere, whereby devotees come together and they find faults with each other and they are unable to make progress. Someone sees his guru as superior to another guru. My guru is superior to your guru. So if my guru is giving class, I will attend. But if your guru is giving class, I will not attend. I will not come to the temple until my guru comes. Somebody who has not come to the temple for 1 year, when he sees the guru coming, when he hears that the guru is coming next week, exactly on that day, he's in the temple. He's good, but his mentality shows that is a kanisa. And when kanisas come together, they find fault with each other and they quarrel and they can't make progress. They justify their own inactivity, by the shortcomings of others. So in that way, it reduces the environment. But we are advised to elevate ourselves from this kind of level to at least the level whereby we can have compassion for those who are innocent. We can see the devotees of the Lord also. Because when we see the devotees of the Lord, that service to the Lord is not complete without service to devotees, then we begin to see how we can relate and serve devotees. Not only seeing the Lord offering obeisances and going away. He sees the devotees and he begins to relate with the devotees. And the process of relating with the devotees is explained in the purport of this particular text. Dadati pratigrinati gunyama kyate prisha. Bhumte bujayate shaiba. Sadvidam priti lakshana. These are the ways of loving exchanges. And he begins to practice. Yeah, if it is on the canister level, he can never practice that because he sees nobody as anything except himself, like Druda. And he cannot make progress. Neither can he help others to make progress too. So in this way, we stay in one place. But if we're able to raise ourselves by the association of the advanced devotees, by service to the advanced devotees, by hearing from the advanced devotees, then we can also gradually evolve to the level of at least intermediate devotees. Even those who have become devotees, who are already on the path also, they are also on different levels. There is a level called Atmavan, Atmavana, Atmavan. And there is a level called Atma Krida, and there's a level called Atma Arata. Generally, we will not agree that we are on canister level, okay? But there is lower canister level, there is higher canister level. Someone can even become an instructor, a Siksha Guru, and is still on a higher canister level, senior canister. So that is there. But still above this canister level, the beginning stage of Madhyama is Atmavan. And Atmavan level is very high. If you look at SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM 11 Canto, if you can help me scroll to it, SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM 11, 18, 20. If you can open the page for us.
11,
18, 20.
11, 18, 20.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM 11,
18, 20.
Okay, 18,
20. There are the 6 kind of loving exchanges among devotees are explained in the purport. Then right after that, let's read that paragraph. You will see who is an Atmavan, who is an Atma Krida, and who is an Atma Rata. We all find ourselves somewhere. Okay, go forward. Yes, up. Okay, stop. You can read, please.
From where? One who does lands to associate with the Lord of devotees remains installed. Where do you want us to read from? Or I should read the whole paragraphs?
Just read there where you are reading, please.
Okay. By the influence of, okay, let me just read everything. One who does land to associate with the Lord's devotee actually remains insulated from the contaminations of material life. By pure association, one gradually understands the name, form, qualities of states, pastimes, and devotional service of Lord Sri Krishna. And thus, even in this lifetime, one can become a resident of the spiritual world. In the association of pure devotees, there is no material contaminations and no useless discussion. Since all pure devotees are fully engaged 24 hours a day in the loving service of the Lord. By the influence of such devotees, one develops equal vision, Sama Dakshina, and sees the realized knowledge of Krishna consciousness everywhere. As one begins to understand his eternal relationship with Lord Krishna, he becomes Atmavan.
As one begins to understand his eternal relationship with Lord Krishna, it becomes Atmavan. Some of us, we are thinking we already understood our eternal relationship with Krishna. But if we truly do, our activities will change. Our vision will change. And there are certain things we are doing that we will not do again. So carry on.
Okay, situated in the constitutional position, an advanced Vaishnava constantly enjoying the mellows of loving devotional service and carrying out the mission of the Lord on the earth is Atma Krida.
That is Atma Krida. Is constantly engaged. Is already advanced Vaishnava, who is constantly enjoying the mellows of loving devotional service and carrying out the mission of the Lord on the earth. Is Atma Krida. Is constantly enjoying. That means he has become steady. One who enjoys life within the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. That is what he is. He is already functioning under the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. So he's steady. He's steadily situated in the internal potency of the Lord. He's called Atma Krida. Then, one who enjoys life within the internal potency of the Supreme Lord, okay? The advanced devotee remains constantly attracted to the Supreme Lord and his devotees, and is therefore Atmarata. When the Atma Krida further advances, it becomes Atmarata. So if we look at this mirror, we will see where we are. We will see where we are. And this is a mirror for us to look so that we can know exactly where we are. So that we can know how much energy we need to put in order to arrive at where we should be. We are supposed to come to the platform of Madhyama and Uttama, whereby we'll be able to see the Lord, we'll be able to see the soul in every living entity, we'll be able to see the Lord, the super soul in everyone's heart, and therefore become humble and relate to everyone with utmost humility. We are supposed to arrive there. But where are we now? That examination we have to do individually. Are we thinking we are very advanced already? And at the same time, sometimes we quarrel and fight. Sometimes we do things that are substandard, are not accepted, things that are below the scriptural injunctions. Sometimes we criticize others without seeing ourselves. Are we there? Prabhu, are we there? So that is the point. We have to be ready to elevate ourselves individually to the desirable platform of one who is actually seeing the Lord, seeing the association of the devotees, valuing the association of devotees, seeing those who are innocent, and also seeing those who are actually antagonistic so that we can avoid them. We have to elevate ourselves to that level. So until we arrive there, we still have a lot to do. And while we are thinking we are already Madhyama, it is very possible that we are still advanced canisters, like myself. Canister. Old canister. Old canister, that is what I am. And when I see myself, I look through the mirror, I see myself as old canister. or advanced KRSNA, but not able to cross to the Madhyama level yet, still struggling with the senses, sometimes falling to avoidable quarrels and all that. So this process is very beautiful. Individually, we have to take it seriously in order to advance steadily. And the platform is there for us. According to this verse, it would be nice if we can actually see everything in connection with the root and we start acting on that platform. You see, we should refine our vision by seeing everything in relationship with the Lord. That is viewing material objects with spiritual vision. Then being able to connect everything towards satisfying the Lord, thereby making utility our principle. Learning and mastering the science of engaging everything in the service of the Lord, including our material body, including our material possessions, including everything at all that comes our way, technology, everything, to be able to engage them. And also our individual skills, to be able to engage them in the devotional service. So this is it. Then, one cannot possibly develop the exalted qualities mentioned here without becoming an unalloyed devotee of the Lord. One who is envious of the Lord and his devotees, they become attracted by bad association and gradually loses control of the senses and fall down into the network of impious life. That the innumerable varieties of non-devotees that we see in the world, they are like branches sprouting from the single tree of enviousness of the Supreme Lord, Krishna. And their association should be given up by all means. There is a tree called the tree of enviousness. And the different varieties of non-devotees we see in this world, they are branches of the tree of enviousness. They are branches that are sprouting out from the tree of enviousness of the Supreme Lord. And we should avoid such persons as much as possible. And we cannot identify them, talk less of avoiding them, if we are not on the Madhyama level. So we are expected, we are called to try to evolve ourselves beyond the limited KRSNA level, to at least Madhyama level, so that we can properly represent the Paramparam, can become proper instruments in the hand of the Lord. This is the call. The luminary is a spiritual spark, part and parcel of the Supreme Being. There, the soul is the root of the body, the super soul is the root of the soul, and the super soul of the universe is the root of the individual super soul residing in the individual bodies. And Krishna is all the source of all the expansion, the super soul of the universe. So this is it. So when we say Krishna, the absolute truth, is everything combined together, including all its expansions, all the living entities, all its different kinds of energies, and all our desires, activities, everything combined together in one person. That is the absolute truth we are talking about. And that is Krishna. So Krishna is so full. He has so much. He's so condensed. He carries everything, but he just manifests little that is required at a particular time so that we can help draw ourselves up. So without unalloyed devotional service to the Lord, one loses touch with the desire and mission of the personality of God. So we have to endeavor to become unalloyed devotees of the Lord. Otherwise, we become disconnected from the energy flowing from the Supreme Personality of God. If we are not careful, we'll be drifted away to worshiping demigods, worshiping demigoddesses, worshiping celebrities, worshiping politicians, and all kinds of people. And in this way, one foolishly considers something besides Lord Krishna to be supremely wonderful. Actually, Lord Krishna is the only true object of worship for those desiring to experience unlimited beauty and pleasure. That by seriously taking shelter, by seriously taking Krishna to Krishna consciousness, one can realize the transcendental position of Lord Krishna, to develop all of the qualities mentioned above, be it Atmavan, Atma Krida, or Atma Rata. So please, let's bring it to our level. We can individually achieve this. We're already on the boat, and if we develop the proper attitude, automatically, by the grace of the Lord, we will arrive. Thank you very much. Today's verse is Yadaite Sangata Baba Bhutendriya Manoguna Yadayatana Nirmane Naseku Brahmavitama. Oh Narada, best of the transcendentalists, the forms of the body cannot take place as long as these created parts, namely the elements, senses, mind, and the modes of nature are not assembled. So that is it. As just the same way a car cannot become a car unless the various components are assembled. And therefore, there was a need to create all these components before. Yes. This is the answer, one of the answers to Brown. But how this is done in detail is given in the next verses of this part of the Bible. So for now, we make do with this. Then we say Hare Krishna. If there are some questions and commentaries on these points, then you can bring them up. There are some questions and commentaries on these points.
Hare Krishna, thank you very much, His Grace, Bhaktivedanta Chaitanya PREMA PRABHU, for the beautiful class. Once again, we're sorry for the glitches at the beginning of the class. I guess Sade Prabhu's speaker is still having some issues. Sade Prabhu?
Kavikana Price hand is up, so please, Kavikana Prabhu.
I know. I wanted to hand over to Sade Prabhu. So that's
yes, Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead, Kavikana Prabhu. I think the speaker, Prabhu's speaker
Yes,
is
Prabhu,
still...
thank you very much for your wonderful lecture.
I'm hearing painter. Today is the day of network battle with our Bhagavatam class.
It's okay. Kavikana Prabhu can go ahead.
Yes, so Prabhu, thank you very much for your wonderful lecture. You were talking about Kanista, Madhyama, and Uttama. So that drew my attention to Prabhupada's purport in Nectar of Instruction. Towards the ending of the purport. Maybe if you can share it, we can read it. Where Prabhupada is saying that a particular devotee, a guru, who is not on the level of Uttama, can accept disciple, but he cannot take his disciple to the next level. So how can we understand this? And we see today, there are so many people, like I know some devotee, immediately they go to, they get opportunity to go to India, they want to take shelter of some other people. So how can we understand what level of what is the level of a spiritual master? Whether is it Kanista or Madhyama or whatever. I just want you to throw more lights. But the purport, if you can read the purport, Nectar of Instruction, test 5.
They can put it up for us now. Let them put it out for us on the screen.
Nectar of Instruction towards the ending of the purport.
Which purport?
Nectar of Instruction, test 5.
Test 5. Okay.
Ending of the purport. want you to throw more light on that.
Saliji, we are waiting for you to put it up.
Okay.
One thing I would say is that once it's a topic relating to gurus, we are very careful talking about it anyway. That I think
Prabhupada mentioned about it because he knows that it's going to be there.
Yeah. Scroll.
Towards the end. You can read the end, towards the end of the purport. Yes.
In this verse, Larupa Goswami advises the devotee to be intelligent enough to distinguish between the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. The devotee should also know his own position and should not try to imitate a devotee situated on a higher platform. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given some practical hints in the effect that an Uttama Adhikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. One should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttama Adhikari. A neophyte Vaishnava, a Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform, can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform, and it should be understood that they cannot advance very well towards the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttama Adhikari as a spiritual master.
So I want you to throw more light on that. And somebody can take my intermediate as a spiritual master, but they consider to be on the same platform. I don't understand that aspect. So Prabhupada, please, you can throw more light on that, please.
Yeah, thank you for this wonderful question. Wonderful. Because what is wonderful about the question is that a Kanishta can also become a guru. That is a wonderful thing. The Kanishta, we are in the preaching mission.
No, it's not intermediate. That's Madhyama, intermediate.
Okay, okay. You know, the point is that we are in the preaching mission, okay? And I remember whether it was Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj who said that there can be 3 types of guru. I don't know exactly where it was lifted from. That one of them is that his 2 legs are on this side. Is at the edge of the wall, or the material world and the spiritual world. He's standing there, seeing the spiritual world, but his 2 legs are on this side of the wall. Then the second one is 1 leg is on the other side, 1 leg is on this side. And the third one is his 2 legs are on the other side, the Uttama level. So that one never falls down. But the one in between, 1 leg is on this side, 1 leg is on that side. If he's hold on seriously to the direction of the Uttama, he can also cross over. And even the one whose 2 legs are still on this side also, if he take guidance from his own spiritual master, who is an Uttama Adhikari, he can and listen to him and implement, apply whatever he hears from him. He can also evolve and become free, become full Atmarata. So that is it. Atmavan, Atmakrida, Atmarata. It's like synonymous to advanced Madhyama and Uttama, kind of. So when we are in a preaching mission, we take risk. Someone might not have the full qualification of becoming a temple president, but he's being given the position. The position given to him is an opportunity for him to raise himself to the expected level. That means he has to take up that service with humility. In his heart, he should always be humble, he should be so conscious, attentive, that humility should be his watchword. Even if people glorify him and worship him for what, he should quickly, transfer the glory to his guru. And in this way, he becomes free. If he's acting perfectly on that platform, he will evolve to the next level. So it is not out of place, since this is a mission of compassion. Even though somebody is not qualified to be in a particular service, in the absence of qualified persons, somebody can be given the position with the expectation that he will take advantage of that opportunity, challenging opportunity, to become more serious. So if they've been chanting 16 or 32 rounds, he increases his round, he never reduces. He increases his rounds. He does more rounds because the service given to him is very challenging. And the temptations that will come there are directly proportional. So he has to take more shelter consciously. But if he becomes relaxed and begin to enjoy the position and services and all the goodies that come with it, there could be danger. So little wonder that sometimes we hear that some guru sleep, you know, something drag his leg and he stagger and he managed to regain equilibrium. We hear things like that. But we are very careful talking about that because the temptation that they face there, you know, is directly proportional to the responsibility they carry. You know, you can imagine somebody who is far senior to you come to you and start worshiping you. You are as a guru, you are there as a guru. So somebody far senior to you in age and experience, who is maybe in a household life, mature person, he comes and begin to worship you, touch your feet, serve you. If you are not very attentive and careful and humble, and quickly, right from that point, become afraid of falling down, try to use that energy to surrender to your own guru, you can be dragged down. When 10 or 20 people like that worship you in a day, tomorrow another 10 or 20, they drain you. So you have to take shelter very seriously once such services is coming your way. But if you are able to transfer it to your guru, eventually you will also, the guru's mercy will cover you and take you through. But if you stop and start enjoying it, before you realize, they're worshiping you, they are giving you envelope, they're worshiping you, they are giving you envelope, they're worshiping you, they are giving you envelope. Before you realize, you pile up all the envelopes and you give them to one of your disciples to open an account on your behalf. So anything can happen. So we have to be very careful when we are giving services, big services. We should take a humble position and take more shelter while doing the service with all our hearts prayerfully. That's how it's supposed to be. Me, I pity for such persons because the responsibility is very big. The responsibility is very big, and the tests that will come will be very big tests, you know? Like you are somebody who is just a secondary school leaver, and you are called to the position of a university lecturer. So go and lecture in the university and guide people there. You have to be very careful, very prayerful, very humble. So even if you make mistake, the mistake will not be seen. Your humility and your sincerity of purpose will cover up for everything. So that is it. They face big tests. The gurus, they face tests, temptations of all kinds, both subtle and physical. Tempted with money, tempted with women, tempted with everything. Pride will come through the mind and intelligence. Now people are worshiping you, so I'm superior to everybody. That's why they are worshiping me. So that alone opens the door for Maya to enter deeper. So we should pray for all our leaders and pray to them so that, you know, they will be covered by the grace of the Paramparam, and provided they are ready to sincerely represent this universal movement. So Prabhu, that is what I can say about this, but others can contribute, because the topic is very big. But all what I mean is that we should not stay as canistas. We should try to evolve. And individually, we have to intensify our devotional practices on daily basis. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Bhaktivedanta Chaitanya Prema Prabhu, for the beautiful answer to the beautiful question from Kavi Kanapur. Sriman Sahadi Prabhu, please can you unmute?
Today, I'm not alone. You can see that all the top level management of this platform have been attacked by the ghost of network reception. Why? Because what we are doing is a transcendental thing. And this is attacking the head, both the person giving the class, both the person moderating the thing, everybody is on that. So let us take a common position so that the grace of the Lord can cover us.
Okay, Sahadi Prabhu, please try to speak. Let's see whether we can get your voice. Unfortunately, we cannot hear you.
I think it's his mic. You should try
it's his mic. Yeah, it's the mic. I think maybe this mic could be disconnected.
He's constantly chanting the printer.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I think finally it is done.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you for the answer, Shri Chaitanya Prema Prabhu, and Kavi Kanapur, thank you for your question also. The question, Kavi Kanapur Prabhu, you asked is one of the several reasons why we have these rhetorics. These rhetorics believe that apart from Srila Prabhupada, we do not have any Uttama Adhikari devotee who is in the capacity of being a guru. Therefore, nobody should be a guru except Srila Prabhupada. But what these rhetorics refuse is not a matter of faith. They are just refusing to accept the fact that, like yesterday we were discussing, Bhakti Charu Maharaj was saying that even though he is a guru, but he's not independent. He cannot decide to do whatever he wants to do. When gurus live in their ashrams, they are independent. They have their students living with them. They choose and decide what they want to do. But that is not the case with gurus in ISKCON. The gurus in ISKCON are compelled to conform to what Srila Prabhupada established. So in ISKCON, anybody who is earmarked as a guru is able to take a disciple back home, back to Godhead. Whether the guru is Uttama or Madhyama, that guru can take the disciple back home, back to Godhead. Why? Because that guru is working in the capacity of Srila Prabhupada and is working as the representative of Srila Prabhupada. I very well remember my Guru Dev Bhakti Swami Maharaj, long time ago, he stopped giving initiation. And what was he saying? He was saying he is not prepared to give what is not worth to give to his guru, Srila Prabhupada. So everything our gurus are accepting, they are accepting and offering them to Srila Prabhupada. So when Srila Prabhupada said that whoever follows the 4 regulative principles and chant minimum of 16 rounds a day, I'm going to take that person back home, back to Godhead. Was he only referring to his direct disciples? No. He was referring to every devotee in ISKCON. Therefore, whether somebody is Uttama or somebody is Madhyama, as long as that person is working in the capacity of guru, that guru can take the disciple back to God. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sumasa Prabhu, for your contribution, comments. The topic about gurus, their position, like Chaitanya Prema Prabhu said earlier, it's a topical issue, and it's one of the major challenging topic in our ISKCON philosophical decision-making. But from my perspective, I would not want to make any assertion here. But what Prabhupada said in the purport is very clear for anyone who is sincere enough. Like Sadi Prabhu said, for one who is a Uttama Bhakta is clear, understood, that he has the capacity to take his disciples back to Godhead. But then if someone is a Kanishta guru, if he's giving the service of a guru as a Kanishta, or is giving the service of a guru as a Madhyama, if the person realizes and he understood that he is taking the service, he is properly sheltered at the feet of his own Param Guru, or what we describe as Parampara, or the disciplic subsection, such a person, that person is capable of being able to take such disciples that are under him. But what Prabhupada is referring to here is that, what I'm thinking, if I'm right, Kavi can correct me. What Kavi was trying to point out to is that there are so many who are not qualified, but have assumed the position of, by selection, by compulsion, by whatever means, to take the position of a guru. And because they were not qualified disciples themselves, so they failed to become what is expected to be a via media, or a link between themselves, their disciple, and their own spiritual master. And I think that is what Prabhupada is referring to in the purport, where he says that such disciples must be on the same platform. And it should be understood that they cannot advance very well towards the ultimate. When he says such disciples must be on the same platform, means that although one is a guru, one is a disciple, but the fact is that both of them are still disciples of the Param Guru. And that is what my understanding is. I tend to be correct. The Prabhupada is saying that those such disciples who are not Uttama Bhaktas, on their behalf of their spiritual master, if they are properly situated, sheltered at the feet of their spiritual master, they can take the disciples to their spiritual master's feet. And then by such linking process, they can go back to God. But if they assume the position of Uttama, even though they are not there, neither will they themselves go back to God, nor will they take such naive disciples of theirs who follow them to want to go back to God. And that is what Prabhupada said in the second statement, where after using the word same platform, he said it should be understood that they cannot advance very well towards the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. In other words, such a person, if he's not properly guided under his own spiritual master, is being a Kanishta or Uttama is not a disqualification, but it becomes a disqualification. It becomes insufficient if he has or she has not taken shelter properly under his own spiritual master. So such a person becomes a stumbling block rather than being a via media towards attaining the ultimate goal of life. That is my understanding of what Prabhupada is explaining. But there are other senior devotees, they can share their experience. So, are there any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I would say ordinarily, when somebody reads that place, the immediate understanding will be that you cannot give what you don't have.
Of course, yes.
That if you are a guru and you are not on the highest platform, your disciple can never advance beyond the level you are. They will just be behind you, or at most, the most advanced one will be on the same level with you, not beyond the level that you yourself have not attained. That is the direct understanding when somebody reads it.
Yeah, the beauty of that is that if a person takes shelter of a spiritual master that is Uttama Bhakta and is properly sheltered, Prabhupada has said in several other purports that such a devotee, like Sadi Prabhu is saying, just by following his instructions, they will be taken back to Godhead, both him and even those who are following him. The problem arises when such a person thinks he has arrived and he acts in that capacity, then it becomes a stumbling block to those who are behind him, because we assume we take the responsibility of the service of a temple president, temple commander, the gurus, Shisha Guru, what have you, because we are linked to the parampara, the shelter. So if we become a via media, then it becomes easy for us and those who are following us to be able to climb up. But if we assume that we have become a guru, even when we have not become an Uttama Bhakta, and we realize this, and we want to act as an Uttama Bhakta, then we become a stumbling block, because we no longer receive the mercy. Yasya Prasada Bhagava Prasadu, Yasya Prasada Agati Kutopi, because we're not receiving again, because we have blocked the chain. So those who accept us naively, based on naivety, also becomes blocked by that circumstances. So from that chain down, they remain there. That is what Prabhupada is warning against. But if someone is a Kanishta Guru or a Madhyama Guru and is properly sheltered under the guidance of his own spiritual master, who is an Uttama Bhakta, the flow of connections, it becomes a via media to take the followers of himself and himself to the ultimate goal of life. But if he does not do that, then it becomes a problem. So that's what Prabhupada said. He can become a guru. It's not that he cannot become, he can become, but if he becomes a guru, he has to realize his position and take proper shelter at the feet of the Uttama Bhakta.
We are talking exactly the same thing. We are talking exactly the same thing. And to drive it home more, look at the statement that follows. Therefore, wants to be very careful to take an Uttama Bhakta as a guru. That warning is still given there. And in this one, yes, just as you are saying, we have seen situations whereby somebody takes a guru, the guru has problem, he takes another guru, the second one has problem, he takes a third guru, the third guru also had problem. Yeah. So such a person, what will you tell him? He has to shine his eyes until he might be looking for Uttamadikari for the rest of his life without taking the shelter of anyone again.
And that is why it is very key and interesting that that's what Prabhupada is talking, that's what Prabhupada is warning, because the qualification for one who is conditioned, who does not have the capacity to know, to identify a pure Bhakta, Uttama Bhakta, is his own sincerity of the art. Due to his previous Bhakti can never be influenced, is unmotivated, uninterrupted. If the desire to attain the Lord is pure enough, the Lord will see him through to get to that pure devotee who is an Uttama Bhakta. So it depends on that individual also. So sometimes questions have been asked that those who accept the first and second, third disciples, then such persons also should look at the intensity of their desires. Sometimes. Yeah.
We are going to listen for 30 minutes lecture again, no?
No, we are discussing, there are no hands up, and then we are looking at the time. Once it is time, we will bring this class to a close. Just a few minutes more, but the fact
If
that there
there's
are
no
no
question, then we can close the class if there's no more other discussion. If not, you know, you are
Prabhu.
still giving us Chaitanya is supposed to be the lecturer today, but you are giving us another lecture. So I
Prabhu,
don't
it's okay.
that's what I'm asking.
Prabhu, it's okay. It's okay. The point is that let us bring the thing down to our own level. Let's talk about ourselves. What do we think we are? Are we Uttama Bhaktas or Madhyama or Kanisa?
Before we go forward, Chaitanya Prema, Sahadev Prabhu's hand is up.
Okay, Sadevji.
Hare Krishna. Well, we cannot dictate who to ask what. So we welcome any question anybody asks, whether it relates to what is being discussed or not. So that's what we're trying to do. And we're trying to do it in a very respectful manner, I should say. It's my little understanding is that it is very, very dangerous to hear a statement made by an acharya, a statement made by Srila Prabhupada, and we say that is the end of it. Because the acharyas make so many statements which sometimes appear to be contradictory, but they are not. Depending on the time, place, circumstance, and the situation a particular statement is made. We always say that one cannot give what he does not have, which is true. And I also always say that sometimes one can give what he does not have. And I've been giving this analogy that if you go to the bank and go for a loan, the cashier behind the counter giving you the money does not have the money. That money the cashier is giving you, he doesn't have it. But how is he able to give you the money? He's able to give you the money because he is in contact with somebody who has that amount of money. Lord Brahma created this whole universe. We just reading from this text. All the different ingredients, all the different elements were supplied by a supreme being, a higher being other than Lord Brahma. And therefore, even though Lord Brahma doesn't have them, he's able to use them to create. Therefore, one may not even be an Uttama Adhikari, but once he is in connection with an Uttama Adhikari and is following the guidelines of that Uttama Adhikari, that particular disciple can be taken home.
Yeah, it's true.
Salika, if you can do this, refer to Canto 4, SRIMAD Bhagavatam Canto 4, chapter 12, 4:12, text 33. The guru is the one who takes the disciple home. But let's hear what Prabhupada is saying here. SRIMAD Bhagavatam Canto 4, chapter 12, text number 33. Let's read the purpose, the first line.
The incident proves that the Siksha or Diksha Guru, who has a disciple who strongly executes devotional service like Dhruva Maharaj, can be carried by the disciple even though the instructor is not as advanced. Although Suniti was an instructor to Dhruva Maharaj, she should not go to the forest because she was a woman, nor could she execute austerities and penances as Dhruva Maharaj did. Still, Dhruva Maharaj was able to take his mothers with him. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj also delivered his atheistic father, Hiranyakasipu. The conclusion is that a disciple or an offspring who is very strong devotee can carry with him to Vaikuntha either his father, mother, or Siksha or Diksha, Guru. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, if I could perfectly deliver even one soul back home, back to Godhead, I would think my mission, propagating Krishna consciousness, to be successful. The Krishna consciousness movement is spreading now all over the world, and sometimes I think that even though I'm crippled in many ways, if one of my disciples becomes as strong as Dhruva Maharaj, then he will be able to carry me with him.
What do we understand by this?
Okay, Prabhuji, I think we are all saying the same thing. There's no contradiction in what we are saying. We are saying that one should be in a submissive, humble frame of mind. If he's there ready to take all the instructions coming from the Uttama, then it can be used as a medium. And he himself and his disciples can go. But so we are saying the same thing. That we have to be careful not to talk more about this subject matter, because we are all saying the same thing. And these quotations we have brought now have broadened our eyes immediately. They have opened our eyes again. There are so many quotations complementing this particular point. So I thank you very much for bringing it. For my personal consumption, it's very nice. And I think every other person, we see that we have to be careful. Rather, we should focus on how we can actually evolve ourselves to the higher level where we can represent the Parampara more and more. So on this note, if there are a few more questions, we can ask.
Okay, Sir Prabhu, do you have some other comment or question?
No, I have a question. Thank you so much for the class, Sri Chaitanya Prabhu. When you were speaking, you were talking about roots. And you gave example of analogy given in the Bhagavad Gita about the body and the driver being the intelligence, the soul being a passenger. So the soul also has a root. And you said the root of the soul is the super soul. How is the super soul the root of the soul? I wanted to know. Okay, the soul is an expansion of the super soul now. It's Krishna expanding until it reaches where we are as individual souls. So the soul perfection is achieved when it is in connection with on contact with the super soul, when it's able to hear the voice of the super soul. Because it is the general philosophy, we are all eternal part and parcel of Krishna. So since Krishna, the super soul, is actually an expansion of Krishna, who has followed the individual soul to help him when he's ready to go back home and is taking all the risk going with him. So it's an expansion of the super soul in that wise. They are supposed to be one in interest. When the individual soul becomes one in interest with the super soul, the journey back home becomes very smooth. So it is in that wise, one in interest. Once he becomes one in interest with the super soul, and that can liberate him, that means the super soul is his source. And in other words, the super soul is also an expansion. Is representing Krishna in totality. And the soul is being followed just to help him in that way. So that is the whole connection. We are eternal part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, and the super soul is the expansion of the Supreme Lord. Charged with that particular. I asked this question because I beg to differ from the answer you gave me, except maybe you want to throw more light on it. Because Krishna, who for us here, he is appearing midnight tonight. He is appearing midnight.
Who is that? Who?
Krishna, Sri Krishna.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, how the master is today.
Wow.
Yes.
No.
So this Krishna, whose appearance we celebrate every year, is is Paramatma, but not Paramatma. So when Krishna with Arjuna were moving around and Krishna told Arjuna that the living entities are my parts and parcels. Have we ever heard anywhere where the Supersoul has said that the living entities are parts and parcel of him? I mean, we all understand that the Supersoul is none other than Krishna, yet he is different from Krishna based on our Achintya Abheda. And that is why the Supersoul is only available in the material world. There is no Supersoul in the spiritual world. So if you say that the Supersoul is the root source of the living entity, then you are saying something to buttress the point that the living entities have never been with Krishna. We do not belong to Krishna, which I beg to differ. Because I haven't come across anywhere where the Supersoul has made a statement that all 11 entities are from him. We know that.
How many Bhagavatams have you read?
No, I'm not claiming. That is why I'm asking. No, listen. No, don't misquote me.
You are asking Bhaktivedanta. You are asking
Kavi
Bhaktivedanta.
Kanapura, please mute yourself. Kavi
No.
Kanapura, please mute yourself.
Chaitanya, don't misquote me. Don't misquote me by thinking that I'm saying that I have read everything. No single person has read everything. And that is why we attend classes, because somebody has read or heard something that the other person has not read, has not heard. And so when we come together, then we learn, we share, we hear from others, and then our knowledge increases. So what I'm saying.
Wait, it's not you. All of us here is what I'm saying. Which Bhagavatam have we read? Is it not this key point Bhagavatam that we are reading? There are voluminous real universal Bhagavatam that we don't even have access to where they keep them. That they are still there, but just this essence, just to help us come out, is the one that yesterday gave to us. So the details about those things, they are not there in this our own. And I'm saying that we just have to take it like that, that Krishna is the source of everything, and every other expansion is just representing him. And when you connect through the expansion, you ultimately get to Krishna. Even if it is gradual, even the variation of the graduation is not even given, because if they give it, we cannot comprehend it. So the one that is summarized for us, that little essence that we are having at Bhagavatam, is where even that one we have not read it. When I say we, not you, all of us, all of us. So let's just take it like that and leave it like that, Prabhu. But if we go deep now, it will be too much.
Hare Krishna, I'll leave it like that. It's okay.
Thank you very much, Sadi Prabhu. Kavi Kanapura, please unmute.
Yeah, Prabhu, thank you very much. Chaitanya Prabhu, thank you very much for that comment. When you mentioned that comment about that we are from the super soul, the soul is from the super soul. Although I've not come across where it's mentioned in any of the Bhagavatam we are reading, but you are making me to think even more deeper regarding the process of creation. When the super soul of the universe is Mahavishnu. When he impregnates the Prakriti with the living entity. So I'm thinking in that aspect, although I've not heard from anywhere. So I just say, is that what you meant? I'm trying to ask.
Okay, if that's how somebody understands, it's also okay. Once the super soul is higher than the individual soul, and the super soul is just expansion of Krishna himself to reach us on different levels. Once the super soul is higher than the individual soul, let's say the super soul is a representative of Krishna. It's coming from Krishna. So once you get the permission and the blessing of the super soul, you will get to the higher level if you have to go higher until you enter Goloka. So let's take it like that, Prabhu. Let's not go into the details because the details are contained in Universal Bhagavatam with unlimited. Which if we read them, we'll be lost. That's why Prabhupada just extracted this essence and let's just make do with it and see how we can help ourselves evolve from Kanista to Madhyama.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
sir. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Thinking that we are already Madhyama, that's what we are thinking, but we are actually advanced Kanistas. So it's a very big thing to study this thing and talk about it. But I think if we go about it in the way of self-evaluation, then we know that we have a lot to do. We have a lot to do on our levels. So let's see how to help each other do it, remain on track, be doing it together. And that is more essential for now.
Thank you very much, Chaitanya Prema Prabhu, for that, your answer. Thank you everyone for your comments, questions, and contributions. We thank you very much for being part of this auspicious day Bhagavatam discourse. Today is Janmashtami. This is part of the potency and the opulence of Krishna. Simultaneously. Just a second.
Let me conclude. Let me conclude.
That's what I'm doing. That is what I'm doing, Prabhuji.
Not you. Let me conclude.
Okay. Just a minute. Just a minute. I'm going to give it back to you.
Thank you.
As part of the ultimate opulence of the Lord, that simultaneously Krishna is manifesting in some place today as his appearance. To some of us, it is tomorrow. And in another universe, maybe it was yesterday. Yeah. But that is the opulence of Krishna. So we thank you all for being here. So thank you very much, Sriman Chaitanya Prema Prabhu, for this beautiful class. So you wanted to give some conclusion statement. Please go ahead.
I want to give. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to conclude my class. The point is that Krishna has appeared. Okay, Krishna appeared in the middle of the night, J. Ram, where everywhere was dark. We have darkness all around us. And actually, when Krishna appeared, everything was illuminated. So if we allow Krishna to appear in our hearts, our whole life will be illuminated. And before Krishna appeared, all those six sons that were eliminated by cancer, they all represent the 6 anatas. And if we are able to remove these anatas, it is only then that Balaram will appear. Balaram is the original spiritual master. Balaram's appearance before Krishna appearance means without the mercy of Balaram, we cannot get Krishna. So when the heart is cleansed of all those misgivings, all those anatas, then Balaram appear. Then when Balaram appear, we can now attain Guru Nistha. And from there, we connect, we begin to understand what the Guru is saying, begin to be able to act on this platform. Then we can deliver Krishna to us. So only Balaram can deliver Krishna to us. And when Krishna appears in our heart like that, all inauspiciousness will vanish. Just like all darkness in that room, the prison room vanished. And the locks, all the padlocks got opened when Vasudeva started carrying out the instructions of Krishna by carrying him in the basket and start going towards the door. The same way, once we carry the instructions of Krishna in our hearts, that we really want to represent him, all the doors of inauspiciousness will open as we go towards the door. And the locks will just open automatically and we pass through without being seen. And just as it was not seen until crossover, the river dried, the Yamuna River, so also the river of all inauspiciousness, distraction, devastation will dry in our heart. And we just cross over and we enter Goloka. And the same way, so let us use this opportunity to prepare our hearts for Krishna to appear. And we should encourage every other person. We should not look for Krishna's appearance outside of our hearts for now. The temple only just encourage us that, yes, this is possible. But the main call is for us to individually prepare our hearts for Krishna's appearance. So let us put some energies in that direction. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. This is my Jamasame message to where Krishna is appearing, where he's going to appear tomorrow. I'm already sending my own message. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prema.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity, giving me a class, allocating a class for me just before Jamasame, just on the day of Jamasame. Even though I am a canista, advanced canista, I'm given the opportunity to talk about this transcendental Uttama subject matter. So thank you very much. All glories.
Thank you very much. So on this note, we request all of the devotees to please kindly unmute ourselves. Let us loudly chant a powerful Hare Krishna mantra to appreciate our speaker for today, for this beautiful class. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Rama, Hare Hare. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinde ki jai. Great Sri Chaitanya Prema Prabhu ki jai. Sri Krishna Jamashtami ki jai. Bhakta Vrinde ki jai.